So good afternoon, all of you. I hope my audio video is fine. Please give me a quick thumbs up. Ravi, JP, and Lydia, please give me a quick thumbs up if my audio video is fine. All my dear students, please give me a quick thumbs up if my audio video is fine and you all can hear me properly. Can anybody give me a thumbs up? Okay, ji. So welcome in the next session of the INI-CT PYQ marathon. And I think since morning or since I think since 12 p.m. the sessions are running. And I hope everybody or all of you will attend all the sessions of all the subjects which are scheduled for today's date. We have almost one hour session, and at every hour we have one different subject. So this 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. is given to dermatology. Till the others join or till the previous session ends, let us complete with the regulars, and then we will start away with the today's topic discussion. So everybody knows me. I'm Dr. Cheshta Agarwal, your NEET PG educator on Unacademy, and I've myself scored all India rank 261 in my NEET PG entrance examination. You can join us on Telegram groups. We have a lot of Telegram groups. The two important one is Let's Crack NEET PG and NEET PG Live. These are the two Telegram groups of Unacademy. You can join them to get homeworks, class notes, link of the upcoming special classes or the live plus class. Two type of subscriptions are available. One is plus, which give you an access to Unacademy live classes from the top educators. You have live quizzes, test, access to around 25,000 plus question, and you have printed notes available for 12 months and more subscription. Faith, today because of this marathon session, I have to take this session half an hour early. Because we have to get this session included in that marathon, so you cannot start it at 2:30 p.m. That is why we have scheduled it at 2 p.m. I hope you all got your notifications on time. I hope you all got your notifications on time. For Iconic, we have an access to both Unacademy and Prep Ladder. And Prep Ladder give you an added advantage of clinical integrated essentials, video lectures, question bank, rapid revision, snapshots, as well as dream notes. These special classes are the free classes which all the educators take, and this is one of them. You need to unlock these classes using my code, and that is CHTA10. Now we have a highly effective question bank of around 25,000 plus questions, which has detailed explanations attached to it. I request all of you to please use this using my code CHTA10, my name and 10 in front of it. This is the offer which is actually till 28th. I don't know whether they have extended it or not. But you have 24 plus 4 that if you buy a 2-year subscription, 2 months is free. And if you buy a 12-month subscription, 2 months is free. One exam that is a mock test is scheduled for tomorrow. It's a free test. You can enroll it for your FMG paper. The paper is at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also have another feature which is called as raise a hand. So if you have any difficulty, you can just raise your hand and ask the doubt. These are some of our top learners who have performed very well in their recent examination. I request all of you to please be a part of Unacademy family like these students have done. These are some of the batches which have started recently. The Target NEET PG 2022 batch, high selling batch, and a clinical case discussion and instrument batch. I will be taking the class in this clinical instrument batch on 5th of November. I have two sessions where I will be showing you different instrument, its use in dermatology, and the expected questions in your exam. So I request all of you to please attend my class of clinical case discussion and instrument batch on 5th November. The timing is 6:30 p.m. and we have 4-hour session with a half an hour gap after 2 hours. And for taking the subscription, I request all of you, either Iconic or Plus, you can go for a longer subscription of 1 year and more, and you can go for shorter subscriptions of 3 months, 6 months, etc. Whatever it is, please use my referral code CHTA10. INICT also, ma'am, when is FMG sessions? Faith, FMG sessions, it is definitely there for November month, but what is the exact date? I'm not still sure. The notice which I got till now is only about that clinical batch, only two sessions of 2 hours each, and we'll definitely have a FMG batch. Sonu, from first, again, I will be starting with INICT batch. Today at 10 p.m., we have a class on INICT, the rapid revision. So I request all of you to please follow me for INICT rapid revision in the evening as well. So I think we have a lot of students. Please give me a thumbs up so that we can start straight away with the previous year MCQs. I don't want to waste much time. Okay, ji. So let's begin with the question which you all got in the past exams, as well as I've attached few questions from AIMS, JIPMER as well. Chalo ji. So let's start with the first question of the today's session, which is this hair shaft defect. This was an INI-CT direct question. So there is a hair shaft. Please write it on the poll section. Do not mark it on the chat. What is this hair shaft defect? Trichorhexis invaginata, Trichorhexis nodosa, Monolithrix, or Trichoptilopsis. Very nice, all of you. Akshat, Dr. Tariq, Faith, Vaishnavi, Ketki, Nana, very well done, all my dear students. This is a very classical image of Trichorhexis invaginata. Can anybody tell me any alternate names for this condition? What is the other name given to the same defect? Also known as bamboo hair, also known as ball and socket deformity. Okay, so it is known as bamboo hair or ball and socket deformity. Very, very important. Please remember, Sonu, this is not endothrix. This is not endothrix. So do not get confused between endothrix, which is the fungal infection. This is the hair shaft disorder, which is a very classical feature of which syndrome? Anyone? Which syndrome? It's a very classical feature of knee-turtle syndrome. Now, how does Trichorhexis nodosa look like? Please remember, in Trichorhexis nodosa, you develop paintbrush deformity. So can you see here, the ends of the hair shows splitting, or it shows brush-like consistency, and these brush-like consistencies of both sides form a node. So this is known as classical paintbrush deformity. Paintbrush deformity. It's a very, very classical feature of the conditions. For example, those who use comb very vigorously, specifically those who have a regular parlor treatments on the scalp or on the hairs, they develop this type of Trichorhexis nodosa. What was the next option? Monolithrix. In monolithrix, please remember the hair becomes like this. Very dull hair, loss of shine, discrete, curly hairs, and smaller in length. And what is Trichoptilopsis? Anyone can tell me what is Trichoptilopsis? Trichoptilopsis is nothing but another name given to the splitting of the hair. I think everybody knows what is split ends. The distal part of the hairs have splitting, and this is known as Trichoptilopsis. Clear, all of you, with all the four options? Please give me a thumbs up if you are done with all the four options and why the reason is here. Very well done. Let's move the next. What is the cause of it, Tara? Please remember, the rigorous brushing is the cause for split ends also. What happens when you do shampooing? The hairs are all entangled, and when you comb your hair very rigorously, the entangled hair can split from the center, causing the split ends or Trichoptilopsis. Now, for this question, I would add one except. Which of the following can cause lesions on the glands except? Or all can cause the lesions except? Now you have to tell me the correct answer. This was a repeat question from INI-CT. Please remember, in INI-CT, the first INI-CT, that is last year, we had almost 50 questions, 50% of the derma questions from STD. Almost 4 to 5 questions were from STD topic. So try to remember this, because STD is anyway very important. Very nice, Ravi, Mehtab, Shweta, Raj, Shwetali, Vivek, Zoya, Orchid, Adi, Ella, Darshan, Ketki, Aditya, Janani. Very well done, all of you. Very well done. Now, please remember, all of the following can cause lesions on the glans penis except LGV. LGV, what does it cause? It directly goes and infect the lymphatics, causing enlarged painful lymph nodes known as bubo. You will not see genital ulcer. You will see genital elephantiasis because of obstruction of the lymphatics. Genital elephantiasis. Understood, all of you? Please give me a thumbs up if this question is clear. While in herpes genitalis, you will see multiple recurrent painful ulcers. In chancroid also, you see multiple painful ulcers. And in syphilis, you will see painless hard ulcer. Okay, in syphilis you see painless hard ulcer. Can you tell me the answer? Which of the genital ulcers, or what are the DDs for genital ulcers which are painless and hard? Can you tell me where do you see painless and hard genital ulcers? Everybody is aware about syphilis, but my question is, other than syphilis, can you tell me what is the sexually transmitted cause which has painless hard ulcer? Very nice, Mudrika, very nice, Lydia, very nice, Steffi. It is donovanosis. And donovanosis is because of Calymetobacteria granulomatis. Calymetobacteria granulomatis. Clear, all of you? I hope this question is clear and easy. You are right, Madhavendra. Calymetobacteria granulomatis can also be called as Klebsiella granulomatis. So both these conditions, syphilis and donovanosis, can have painless hard ulcer. Now somebody is writing LGV. Steffi, we have just now discussed that in LGV, genital ulcer is not something which is visible. It is very transient, very short-lived, and that is why you will never see the genital ulcers in the patients of LGV. Next question, image based. Now this image I've seen in FMG paper. This image was there in INI-CT, and also in previous NEET PG, you have the same question. So this topic is something which is very, very important. Very, very important, and I think everybody is aware also. Vaishnavi, Faith, Ravi, Nana, Orchid, Madhu, Devika, Sarita, Ekta, Bushra, Bindu, Zoya, Sayatan, Mehtab, JP, Lydia. Very well done, all of you. Very nice, and I'm very happy to see your responses. Amazing. So identify this skin lesion. Please remember the correct answer of this question is mycetoma. The correct answer of the question is mycetoma. Okay. So mycetoma, which is a deep fungal or subcutaneous fungal infection, presents with a large tumefaction or growth, which is associated with sinus, and there is discharging grain, which is seen in these individuals. Okay. Poll was not visible. Shweta, I request you to please refresh it from your end, because sometimes it happens if the net connection is not proper. Okay, ji. Subepidermal blisters with subepidermal blisters with the neutrophils. What is the treatment of choice? I hope now the poll is visible to all of you. Aruna, Dr. Cardio, Venkatesh, very nice. Ravi, Aditya. Very nice. Subepidermal blisters with neutrophil. What is the treatment of choice? Very nice, all of you. Ravi, Aditya, Vaishnavi, Sarita, Bushra, Akshat, Steffi, Ella, Nana, Zoya, Mudrika. Very nice. Adi, all my dear students. Very well done. Now, subepidermal disorder with neutrophils. Can you tell me what is the diagnosis? What will be the diagnosis? Yes, it's a case of dermatitis herpetiformis, and in dermatitis herpetiformis, Depson works very well. Now, can you tell me which is that subepidermal blister with eosinophils in the blister cavity? Can you tell me what is the diagnosis now? What is the diagnosis now? The diagnosis becomes bullous pemphigoid. And can you tell me what should be the treatment of choice in a patient of bullous pemphigoid? How will you treat a patient of bullous pemphigoid? Please remember, for treating bullous pemphigoid, we need not give steroids. You will give doxycycline, antibiotic, and niacinamide. Please remember, both these drugs work very well for bullous pemphigoid. Now, why we are not giving steroids, even though it is an autoimmune connective tissue disorder, sorry, it is an autoimmune vesiculobullous disorder. The reason is bullous pemphigoid have a tendency of spontaneous healing. And that is why we do not require something which has its own side effects like steroids. So you just give doxycycline and niacinamide, and they have a proven role against bullous pemphigoid. Clear, all of you? Please give me a thumbs up, Ravi, Adi, Zoya, Shweta, everybody, if you understood this point. Okay, so this is a repeat question, and I hope everybody will answer it now. Okay, ji. Painful ulcers on the tip of the glands. What are the cause? Painful ulcers on the tip of the glands. What are the cause? Painful ulcers on the tip of glands. Painful ulcer on the tip of the glands. Please remember, answer is both. Hemophilus ducreyi, which is the causative agent for chancroid, and HSV, which is the causative agent for herpes genitalis. Both of them presents with multiple painful genital ulcers with a short incubation period. So the correct answer here becomes option number 3. And what were the DDs of painless ulcer? We have discussed previously. The painless hard ulcer is syphilis and donovanosis. Syphilis and donovanosis. Chalo ji, बढ़िया. Which of the following is the correct statement for this question? There's an image given. You can see multiple small papules with present on the genitals at the junction of penile shaft and scrotum. Very nice. Ella, Zoya, Jasmine, Janani, Vaishnavi, Vedashri, Surya, Madhu. Then we have Kritika, Vivek, Mehtab, Sayatan, Dr. Cardio, Devika. Very nice. Very well done, all of you. Very well done. Now, this is a very classical image of molluscum contagiosum. And if you remember, I've shown you the similar image. You will not see the lesions very clearly, but it is visible here. I'll show you just a second. Now, can you see the dip here? There's a central umbilication. Here also you can see a central dip. I don't know whether it is very clear at your end or not, but you can see that there are central depressions here. You have a central dip dot here also. And this is what is known as pseudocobnus. I hope you can see the linear lesion, and this is known as pseudocobnus phenomena, which is very, very classical of infective conditions like molluscum. So the answer here is option number 1. Zinc smear, please remember, herpes lesions are always in groups. And here you can see discrete lesions, so it cannot be herpes. It cannot be something which has gram stain positive. And even if it is molluscum, there is no antivirals to take care of it. So only best answer here would be option number 1. Understood? Chalo ji, badhiya. This was another question which you got in your INICT. So there are many students who always ask me that, ma'am, will we get only the large, lengthy questions in INICT? So please remember that is not true. All these questions are from INICT, and I think nothing is more than one line, or no question is more than one line. So one-liners are always important. They are like old is gold is the saying. So always try to do the one-liners, some popular one-liners, and please do PYQs, which is very important for any sort of exam. PYQs are always very important. Chalo. Investigation of allergic contact dermatitis is a patch test. Can you tell me what type of hypersensitivity reaction is a patch test? What type of hypersensitivity? It is grade 4 or type 4, which is delayed type of hypersensitivity. Okay, so like this, you have to apply it on the back. You get pre-filled syringes in the market. You have to put small quantity of each antigen on these aluminum fin chambers, and then you have to stuck it, or you have to stick it on the upper back like this. You have to ask the patient to visit the clinic again after 2 days, and you have to remove the patch, and then he has to come back on 96 hours when you will read the patch. That is on day 4. Okay, so that is how the patch test is done. Very, very popular and important question. Now this question is also direct repeat 3 times. It has been asked in FMG, it has been asked in INICT, and it has been asked in NEET PG also. 3 times, same questions, again and again. All 4 options are asked. So I will show you the image of each of them. Very nice, very nice. I was expecting 100% answer, but we still have 81% only. Oh, very nice. Orchid, Pooja, Zoya, Mudrika. Then we have Ashish, Sarita, Aditya, BS, Shweta, Janani, Sukanya, Ella. Very nice, all of you. Please remember the correct answer is annular. Now, most of you all will think that what is discoid? Please remember, discoid is somewhat like this. I hope you can make out the difference. Discoid is uniformly involved. And yes, Taffy, discoid, nummular, they are name given to the same condition. Okay. And target lesion is like this. You have 3 zones: central, dusky or necrotic, middle one is edematous zone, and outer one is erythematous zone. So dusky center or necrotic center, edema in the middle, edema in the middle. And what does periphery has? Periphery has erythema. And can you tell me where will you see erythema multiforme? Sorry, I've told you the answer. Where will you see target lesion? The answer is erythema multiforme. In erythema multiforme, you see target lesions. What are the other names of target lesions? Also known as bullseye lesion, also known as iris lesion. So you will get these questions or these terminologies. Try to remember. Bullseye lesions or iris lesions are the name given to the same condition. ठीक है, चलो जी. Next question. A girl with growing lump on the side of the neck. She has freckles and flat spots on the face and trunk. Very nice. Ravi, Zoya, Aruna, Ella, Kowalski, Vedashri, Uma, BS, Sonu, Ketki, Vaishnavi, Shatnik. So it's a very easy question. This is a case of neurofibromatosis type 1. The flat spot on the face and trunk could be cafe au lait macule. This is known as axillary freckling, or you can also get it on other flexures known as Crow's sign. And in these individuals, you have multiple soft to firm tumors or soft to firm growths of the bodies, which are known as neurofibroma. Can you tell me how many neurofibromas should be present for making the or for keeping it under the diagnostic criteria of NF1? How many neurofibromas should be present? Anyone? Nobody is right till now. Nobody is right till now. So Kanya, Janani, Vivek, Kirti, Vishnu, nobody is right. Very nice, Adi, whatever is your name. The correct answer is more than equals to 2. Okay, it is more than equals to 2 neurofibromas which should be present. Now, if it is plexiform neurofibroma, definitely the answer is more than 1. But here it is not given as plexiform, so it should be more than equals to 2. You are right if you are considering it to be plexiform. How many cafe au lait macule should be there for keeping it under the diagnosis? Anyone? Yes, it is more than equals to 6. Another question. How many iris leash nodules should be present for making a diagnosis? How many iris leash nodules should be present? So Zoya says it's 1. Staffy Ravi says it is 5. 50. That is something new. It should be more than equals to 2. Okay, it should be more than equals to 2, not 13. Okay, understood? Clear? Chalo ji, amazing. So these numbers are actually very important. You are getting questions on the diagnostic criteria, and that is why I thought of discussing it here. Okay, ji. Should I go to the next question? All of you, please give me a thumbs up. Ready for the next question? Now, this is actually a multiple choice question. I don't know how it was asked. So let me make some options. A, B, C, D. A means 1 and 2. B means 2 and 3. C means 3 and 4. And D means 1 and 4. So please tell me which of the following is the correct answer. Which of the following? True regarding chancroid. True regarding chancroid. Very nice. Sonu, Nana, Staffy, Vishnu, Zoya, Uma, Sukanya, then Kaustubh, Devika, Vivek, Tara, Madhu, Janani, Vidashri, Eddie, Shatnik, Bushra. Very nice, all of you. Very well done. So for this question, the correct answer is option number A, or the first option, which says school of fish and painful ulcers. Where do you see bleeding on touch? Where do you see bleeding on touch? Please remember, Budrika, bleed on touch is actually a feature of donovanosis. It's a feature of donovanosis. And why do the donovanosis lesion bleeds on touch? Because you see a lot of granulation tissue. You see a lot of granulation tissue in the ulcers of donovanosis. And let me see if I have an image of donovanosis. Yes. Please look at this ulcer. Can you see a lot of fragile granulation tissue on the surface of the ulcer? So because of this, they are very much vascular, and because of this, when you touch these lesions, they start to bleed. While chancroid lesions will have multiple ulcers, which is painful. So patient will not allow you to touch, okay, because it is so painful. So bleeding on touch is actually a feature which is more towards the diagnosis of donovanosis, and groove sign is more towards the diagnosis of what? Groove sign is what? Yes, groove sign is a feature of LGV. Now, one very interesting question. Can you tell me what is green blood cell? Have you heard about this term? Please remember, green blood cells is the name given to the macrophages which has multiple bipolar bodies seen in the patients of donovanosis. Understood? So please remember this name, green blood cells, which are the macrophages, which has safety pin appearance or bipolar bodies or donovan bodies inside them. Okay, ji, chalo. So this question is also clear. Should I go to the next question? Anyone has any confusion with this? I guess no. Okay, ji. Let's move to the next question. It is visible on your screen. This was a question on in AIMS, I think last year, 2019, I guess. I'm not sure exactly, 2019 or the last AIMS paper had this question. Eddie, Vedashri, Ravi, Vishnu, Shatnik, very nice. Then Samira, Orchid, Madhu, Kaustubh, Kowalski, Sukanya, Zoya, very nice, all of you, very nice. Okay, ji. So I think this question is clear. Now here you have multiple pustules. Just look at this lesion. You have multiple pustules which are present. Few pustules are discrete and few have combined together to form a confluent path. I request all of you to please give me a thumbs up if you can make this out. Now, whenever a patient of psoriasis, a known case of psoriasis, develops pustular lesion, this is called as a very, very classical variety, pustular psoriasis. Can you tell me what is the predisposing factor or what are the factors which have converted a psoriatic patient into pustular form? Very nice, Zoya. It is the steroid use, the withdrawal of steroids, which causes development of pustular psoriasis. And pustular psoriasis is further divided into localized and generalized variety. Localized and generalized variety. Whenever you have associated constitutional symptoms in generalized variety, it is known as von Jumbush disease. And definitely it will be a case of von Jumbush disease. Now, suppose if this patient comes to your OPD What will be your treatment of choice or drug of choice for this patient? Anyone? How will you treat this particular patient if he or she visits your OPD? Very nice, Kaustubh. But are you sure that you will give methotrexate for a patient of acute generalized pustular psoriasis? Anyone? Please remember, for pustular psoriasis, the drug of choice is oral retinoid, that is acitretin. Please remember, these questions are very frequently asked. Drug of choice for, chalo, let's discuss a little bit of them. Can you tell me what is the drug of choice for chronic plaque psoriasis? Anyone? Drug of choice for chronic plaque psoriasis? It is methotrexate. Drug of choice for psoriasis in HIV. Anyone? Drug of choice for psoriasis in a patient who is immunocompromised. Now, Zoya is saying methotrexate. Zoya, methotrexate is an immunosuppressive drug. Will you give an immunosuppressive drug in a patient of HIV? Never, because it will cause more immunosuppression. The patient will die of infection. So you will give something which is not affecting the immune system, and that is acitretin. Understood, Zoya? Next, psoriasis in pregnancy. Psoriasis in pregnancy, will you give methotrexate? No. Teratogenic drug. Will you give acitretin? No. Teratogenic drug. How can you give these drugs during pregnancy? And plus, in pregnancy, the extension of psoriasis is usually generalized, and that is why you prefer a drug which has a very rapid action. So please remember, the only indication of giving steroid in a patient of psoriasis is psoriasis of pregnancy, which is usually widespread lesions or generalized type of psoriasis. Okay, erythrodermic type of psoriasis. Now, next question: psoriasis in pregnancy with associated gestational diabetes mellitus. With associated gestational diabetes mellitus. Anyone? Ravi, how will you give steroids if there is gestational diabetes mellitus? It will obviously cause exacerbation of the diabetes, can cause a lot of damage to the fetus, polyhydramnios, body weight of the baby will increase, difficult labor, all that problem. UV radiation cost to never, in pregnancy, you will never prefer UV radiation. Teratogenic, okay? Depson, no, there's no role of Depson in a pregnant patient. Topical, Vishnu, if suppose it is not getting cleared by topical, what systemic is your preference? Only one student has given me the correct answer, and that is Aditya. The answer is cyclosporin. Again, Kostu, biologicals, they all are what? They are immunosuppressive. Please think about the mechanism. How can you give something which can cause damage to the mother fetus? So you will not give biologic to even the pregnant patient because it can have teratogenic effects. Okay, ji? So cyclosporin is considered to be the treatment option or the second choice in a patient where steroid is actually contraindicated because of some other associated illness. So you will give cyclosporin. My third question, what is the treatment of choice or not treatment of choice? Which antipsoriatic drug with very rapid action or quickest action? Very nice. Antipsoriatic drug with quickest action is cyclosporin. So if you want to give quick relief, you can give cyclosporin, but anyway, it is very costly. It is almost 1 rupee for 1 mg. And how much you have to give? 3 to 5 mg per kg. So you can calculate the amount per day which a patient has to take. And that is why we prefer methotrexate, which is a cheap alternative. But methotrexate is little slower in its onset, while cyclosporin is very, very rapid in its onset. Okay, so please remember these points, very, very common and frequently asked. Clear? Please give me a thumbs up, all of you, if you understood this. Okay, can you tell me, okay, one more question I wanted to ask, which biologic you will use? I will give you 4 names. Tell me which biologic you will use in a patient of psoriasis. Okay, option number 1 is crisaborole. Option number 2 is, nobody will write the answer on the chat section. I will start the poll. Rituximab. Option number third is brodalumab. And option number fourth is, um, option number fourth is all of the above. So please tell me which of the following biological drug you will use in a patient of psoriasis. There's a A here, brodalumab, BRODALUMAB, crisaborole, rituximab, or all of the above. So only 38% have answered the question. And I don't know why the others have not answered. First of all, remember, rituximab is for pemphigus vulgaris. It binds against CD20 receptors which are present on the B cells. So pemphigus vulgaris is a B cell mediated disease. It's a humoral mediated disease. Humoral immunity is taking place. But psoriasis is a T lymphocyte mediated damage. Understood, all of you? So there is no role of rituximab for psoriasis. What is crisaborole? Crisaborole is phosphodiesterase inhibitor, which is very, very effective against atopic dermatitis. ठीक है जी? Brodalumab is actually IL-17 receptor antagonist or receptor blocker, which is actually effective against psoriasis. ठीक है जी? Clear? Kaustubh, Shweta, Keviv, Swapnamoy, Prabhakar, Goda, Minaka, everyone will give me a quick thumbs up if you understood. These questions are very frequently asked, so try to remember them, try to recall them. Chalo ji, next question is on your computer screen. Quickly tell me the answer. This is again a repeat question from AIMS 2019. And again, I'm requesting that my plus course is getting started again in the next month. Please use my code CHESTA10. Very, very helpful. Will give you additional 10% discount. And if you take a 6-month subscription for NEET PG 2022 preparation, 1 month is free. It's a very limited time period offer, so please utilize it. Very limited time period offer. Very nice. Please remember, flaccid bullae, oral cavity lesions, and acantholytic cell, very, very classical of pemphigus vulgaris. Can you tell me why it is not pemphigus foliaceus? Because acantholytic cells and flaccid bullae are also seen in pemphigus foliaceus. Why this is not pemphigus foliaceus? Anyone? What is that one feature which is never seen in a patient of pemphigus foliaceus? Very nice, oral cavity lesions. Can you tell me why you will never see oral cavity lesions in pemphigus foliaceus? Why? What is the reason to why? The reason is pemphigus foliaceus have antibodies against desmoglein 1, and desmoglein 1 is never present in the oral cavity. So no oral lesions. Understood or not? Please give me a thumbs up. Very important. And from vesicular bullous disorder, one question is fixed, pakka, aana hi hai. Whether it is AIMS, whether it is INICET, NEET PG or FMG. So try to focus on these questions. A very strong possibilities that you'll get these questions in your exam. This is again a frequent repeat question. Let's see how many of you can answer this. Female comes with foul smelling grayish white discharge. On examination, one of these lesions will be seen on microscopy. Madhu, Aditya, Shatnik, Sukanya, Namita, Eddie, Kaustubh, Vivek, Akshat, Sonu. Very nice, all of you. So a female comes with foul smelling grayish white discharge, and on examination, one of these will be seen on the microscopy. Please remember, the correct answer is option number 1. What is this? When will you see foul smelling discharge? You have got a recent question in NEET PG 2021, which is very similar to it. Not the exact similar, but very similar to this. Whenever they write foul smelling, please think of bacterial vaginosis. Can you tell me what will be the color of the discharge in bacterial vaginosis? What is the color of discharge? It is white. You will have whitish discharge. Where will you see green color discharge? Which vaginal infections have green color? Very nice. It is trichomoniasis. And what happens in bacterial vaginosis? You will see when you examine the vaginal discharge, when you do the microscopy, you will see vaginal epithelial cells studded with. Studded means it is not present inside the cell, it is present outside the cell like this. Now, I will ask you one question. What difference does it make? The bacteria is present outside and inside. Will it make any difference? Will it make or will it cause any difference in the feature in clinical presentation, the presence of infection inside the cell and outside? Anyone? Okay, itching, no, I would not say itching. Anyone can tell me what is the difference when you have the infection at the top? Very nice, Shweta, very nice, all of you. It is about inflammation. Now, something is present on the surface of the cell. It will not incite the inflammatory response. The inflammatory markers will not come. The interleukins will not secrete. The cytokines will not released. But when you have anything inside, then the inflammatory cascade will occur. And what happens when the inflammatory cascade occurs? The surrounding cervix or vagina become inflamed. And that is what is a feature of trichomoniasis, not bacterial vaginosis. When you examine the surrounding cervix or vagina in a patient of bacterial vaginosis, you will not see any signs of inflammation. Understood or not? Very, very important. And these vaginal epithelial cells are then called as clue cells. Okay? Clue cells. It gives a clue that you are dealing with a case of bacterial vaginosis. ठीक है जी? Chalo, I assume that you all have understood. Very, very easy. Now, one more question. Suppose this female comes to your OPD today, like if you're going to hospital today, tomorrow, and if the same patient visits to you, how will you treat her? What will you give? How will you treat this patient? Very nice costume, amazing. You will give kit number 2 to this patient, and the kit number 2 is green color. Can you tell me, costume or any other student, what is the content of the kit number 2? What is the content of kit number 2? Kit number 2 consists of secnidazole and azithromycin, and they will take care of the vaginal discharge, whether it is exclusive bacterial vaginosis or whether it is mixed infection by trichomoniasis or candidiasis, etc. So the content of the kit is secnidazole and fluconazole. Secnidazole and fluconazole, 1 gram, 2 tablets of secnidazole, and 150 mg stat of fluconazole. That is the correct answer. Clear, all of you? Please give me a thumbs up if you understood this point. Very interesting and simple, actually. Chalo. Any reason why they have not included metro in the kit? Because secnidazole, maybe it has a better or a broader coverage compared to metro with limited side effects. So that could be the reason why they have included secnidazole instead of metro. And plus metronidazole, you have to give multiple dosage. Like you have to give it 400 mg BD or even more. But secnidazole, 1 gram, 2 tablet stats will do the work. Okay. Clear, Cosco? Fine. A child with a bald patch on scalp with easy pluckability of hair. Physician noted black dot on the area. What will be the treatment? Very nice. The child with bald patches on the scalp, easily pluckability of hair. Physician noted black dots on the area. The treatment to be given would be griseofulvin because it's a very, very classical case of tinea capitis. Now, there are a few questions which you always get from this tinea is the drug of choice for tinea or for dermatophyte. Can you tell me the answer? Drug of choice for dermatophytic infection. Drug of choice for dermatophytic infections. Can't it be alopecia areata? Ravi, how will you explain those black dots which are present? How will you explain those black dots? Okay, so that black dots are nothing but the broken stumps. Okay, broken stumps of tinea capitis, and that is why it is not alopecia areata. The drug of choice for dermatophytic infection is terbinafine. Second, they will ask you the question, what is the drug of choice for tinea cruris? Anyone? Drug of choice for tinea cruris. Sukanya, Ravi, Sayatan, Samira, Swapnamay. Please remember the answer remains same. Terbinafine. Next question. Drug of choice for tinea capitis. What will be your answer? Yes. Now it becomes griseofil. Now, drug with maximum resistance. Drug with maximum resistance. Antifungal drug with maximum drug resistance. The answer is same, griseofil. Okay? So these are some of the questions which you get on and off. Please do not get confused. Okay? Please do not get confused. Another question. This is a very, very favorite or very, very important topic of NBE, I think. Whether it is FMG, whether it is NEET PG, they will give a lot of questions from this topic. So please, even if you are not touching dermatology, at least do this topic, because NEET PG had 2 questions from the same topic. Just imagine if you would have not done that topic before and you would have got 2 questions from that. Like a very shocking thing. It will actually decrease your confidence or morale during the exam, which will actually cause danger to the other questions only. ठीक है जी? So, alcoholic patient with lesions as shown, she also has or he also has diarrhea and deficiency of what is associated. Very nice, Aditya, Goda, Orchid, Samira, Nana, very nice all of you. The classical example is tryptophan deficiency, and this is a patient of pellagra. Okay, this is a patient of pellagra. I think there's no confusion with this. What is the triad of pellagra or tetrad of pellagra? This was the question. You have dermatitis, dementia, and you have diarrhea. Dermatitis, dementia, and diarrhea, which are the DDs of this particular question. DDs of this particular question. ठीक है जी, चलो. These are the 4 Ds of this particular diagnosis. Next question, I think again, this is a repeat question in FMG. We have seen this paper. And even in NEET PG. In INI-CT, STD is more important compared to the other infectious disorder. Anyone? Very nice. A very classical example of tubercular lymph node. Very classical example of tubercular lymph node. Anyone has any confusion? I think no. Frequent repeat question, 15 seconds. Patient present with history of sunburn. Only a few minutes in sun causes photosensitivity, freckling in the sun, exposed areas. The patient with history of severe sunburn, only a few minutes, the answer becomes xeroderma pigmentosa. And can you tell me what is the problem here? It is a nucleotide excision repair disorder. Okay? It's a nucleotide excision repair disorder. Can you tell me what is the mode of inheritance of xeroderma pigmentosa? What is the mode of inheritance? Autosomal dominant, recessive, X-linked dominant, X-linked recessive. Anyone? So I'm getting the mixed answer. Please remember it is autosomal recessive. It is autosomal recessive mode of inheritance. Okay? Autosomal recessive mode of inheritance. Can you tell me the answer here? A 22-year-old college student with history of intercourse with multiple sex workers comes with centrally umbilicated lesions on his genitals, and the scraping from the lesions will show. Can you tell me what will be the name of these bodies which are present? What will be the name of the bodies which are present inside the cytoplasm? They are known as Henderson-Peterson bodies. They are known as Henderson-Peterson bodies. Amazing. The patient comes with cauliflower growth on the foot, farmer by occupation, scraping shows following. What could be your diagnosis? Chromoblastomycosis, rhinosporidiosis, mycetoma, or sporotrichosis. Very nice, Ravi, Orchid, Akshat. Then we have Sarita, Janani, Vishnu, Staffi, Nana, Adi, Adi, Shweta, Ekta. Very classical example of chromoblastomycosis. And what are these bodies known as? Copper penny bodies. They are looking like a copper coin. Copper penny bodies. Okay. Very, very classical copper penny bodies. Next question is on your screen. Again, a repeat question. Child with sores in the mouth, rash on the hand, feet. What will be the causative agent for this condition? Coxsackie A16, pox virus, herpes virus, or human papilloma virus. You have to tell me what is the diagnosis. What will be the diagnosis here? It is a case of hand, foot, and mouth disease. And hand, foot, and mouth disease is a disease which occurs secondary to Coxsackie A16, okay, which belongs to enterovirus group of family. It belongs to enterovirus group of family. Common complication associated with this condition: Sayatan, Sarita, Samira, Nana, KJ, Ravi, Lydia, Kaustup, Bindu, Jasmine. This is a very classical image of non-bullous impetigo. Can you tell me what is the cause of non-bullous impetigo? What is the common cause of non-bullous impetigo? It is streptococcus infection. And can you tell me which strain of streptococcus causes post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis? Which strain? M49. So please remember the M49 strain of streptococcus causes the development of glomerulonephritis. Clear? Anyone with any confusion? Yes, no? Again, a pure image based, very frequent, or again, favorite question of the examiner. Identify this condition: condyloma acuminata, Bowen's disease, condyloma lata, or hemorrhoides. Identify the condition shown in this image. 100% answer. These are frequent repeats. I think now you are like all, even if I wake you up in the night and ask you these questions, you should be answering it, okay? So this is a case of condyloma acuminata or genital wart. And what is the causative agent for genital wart? It is HPV 6 and 11. HPV 6 and 11. Next question. Which organism is responsible for causing erysipelas? Which organism is responsible for causing erysipelas? Streptococcus, Staphylococcus, Bacteroides, or fungus? Which organism is responsible for causing erysipelas? Aditya, Vivek, Vaishnavi, Kaustup, Orchid, Staffi, Sukanya. Then we have Kowalski, KJ, Namita. Very nice. Streptococcus infection is the most common cause for development of erysipelas. Streptococcus infection is the most common. Here, what will be your answer? Which mineral deficiency causes these sort of dry exudative periorificial lesions? Dry periorificial lesions. Ravi, Aditya, Kowalski, very nice, all of you, very well done. The correct answer of the question is option number 1. Zinc deficiency. So which mineral deficiency can lead to following? The answer is zinc deficiency. And yes, Kaustubh, you are right. It's actually a case of acrodermatitis enteropathica. It's a case of acrodermatitis enteropathica. Again, you only need 15 seconds for this because it's a frequent repeat question. First line treatment for acne comedone. Please remember, acne comedones occur because of obstruction to pilosebaceous unit or follicular outflow, and that is why you need to give a keratolytic agent which can prevent that obstruction. Can you tell me what are the topical retinoids you are aware of, which you can give in a patient of acne? You can give tretinoin and you can give what? Yes, adapalene and tretinoin. And which is the topical retinoid which is used in a patient of psoriasis? Which topical retinoid you use in a patient of psoriasis? It is Tazarotin. Tazarotin is actually used in a patient of psoriasis, while tretinoin and adapalene is used in a patient of. And please remember, Staffi isotretinoin is never a topical formulation. It is only the oral drug. You will never get topical formulations of isotretinoin. ठीक है जी? ठीक है? चलो. Now moving to the next question. Again, an image based 15 seconds on your screen. Please tell me the answer. Cutaneous horn, as shown in the image, is associated with which of the following skin cancers? Squamous cell carcinoma, melanoma, basal cell carcinoma, or actinic keratosis? Very nice. Gauda, Samira, Ashish, Swat, Nana, Shatnik, Vaishnavi, Madhu, Kaustubh, Namita, Vishnu, KJ. Very nice, all of you. Very well done, all my dear students. We can do comedone extraction in stage 1 itself, Kaustubh. We can do comedone extraction at that stage as well. Okay? Now, cutaneous horn, as shown in the image, is associated with squamous cell carcinoma. If you will not treat this patient, it can progress to the stage of squamous cell carcinoma. So always remove a cutaneous horn and send it to the histopathological evaluation. Okay. Next, identify the condition shown here. Very nice. It's a classical case of malignant melanoma. And what variety? Lentigo maligna type. Can you tell me what is the alternate name for lentigo maligna? Anyone? What is the alternate name for lentigo maligna? What is the alternate name for lentigo maligna? Hutchinson's freckle. It is Hutchinson's freckle. ठीक है जी? Hutchinson's freckle is the alternate name for. Okay ji. Let's move to this. A patient suffering from ulcerative colitis presents with ulcers on the anterior leg. What is the diagnosis for this particular Ravi, Kowalski, Aditya? Then we have Staffi, Samira, Orchid, BS, Vaishnavi, Ashish, Nana, Vivek. The answer is pyoderma gangrenosum. They are rapidly progressing ulcers with violaceous margin. And please remember, just look at this. Whenever they heal, they will have cribriform scarring. Cribriform scarring, okay? Like a net or like a sieve. Channi jaisa, okay? So cribriform scarring is a feature of healed pyoderma gangrenosum. Very frequent association with inflammatory bowel disorder, and it is a neutrophilic dermatosis. Can you name some other neutrophilic dermatosis other than pyoderma gangrenosum? Anyone? Other neutrophilic dermatosis? Yes, Sweet syndrome and Behçet's disease. Sweet syndrome and Behçet's disease. Next question is on your computer screen. This would be the last question. Child present with fever, pleomorphic rash as shown in the image. What will be the diagnosis? Chickenpox, smallpox, measles, or rubella? Ravi, Goda, Kowalski, Kostu, please remember the correct answer of this question would be chickenpox. You can see that small vesicles with a background of erythema, which is known as dewdrop on rose petal. So this is a case of chickenpox. So with this, we are done with the today's session. I hope you have enjoyed this session. Again, I'm requesting all of you to please join my class, take a 3-month subscription and be a part of clinical case discussion and instrument batch. Specifically, it is important for the final year MBBS students. You get a lot of questions out of it. So bye bye, take care and all the best.